Hello, it's Tuesday night. You know what that means. It's another episode of FPL Journey to 10K, the podcast and series designed specifically to get you thinking like a top 10K manager. And yeah, we'll talk about the form and the stats and all that good stuff, but it's really the secret weapon that we've got behind us that is going to get us that way. That is, of course, my co-host, Mr. Matt Corbs. Just to read off some of your stats, Matt. In your last 7 seasons, you finished in the top 10K 6 times, an average finish of 6,500. And going into this season, you were ranked the fifth best player on the planet. If anybody's going to get us thinking like a top 10K manager, it is you. How are you?
Hey, buddy. Yeah, good, good. How's the international break treated you?
Yeah, England are on the cusp of qualifying for the Euros, which is, that's a good thing. But I miss FPL. I'd rather it not. I'd rather it not have happened. Finally got a green arrow again. I was ready for another. How about yourself?
Yeah, I didn't even know England were playing, but hey, I'm a Wales supporter, right? So yeah, big win for Wales the other night. So yeah, beat Croatia. So yeah, chances of qualifying are looking strong. Again, it's
We're
in
joiners.
our own
I was in
hands.
Scotland.
Um,
Making a trio. But did you been watching the rugby?
yeah, like I,
That's
I,
a
I
sore
mean,
point, isn't it?
I spread my love between all the sports, right? So yeah, I've been enjoying the rugby, man. It's been yeah, big weekend actually. I don't know if you're a fan, but yeah, it's been
Not major, just not majorly, if I'm
no.
honest. But if England are winning, I'll watch it, But
I
on the
pity you.
FPL side,
There's been some,
yeah,
yeah, there's been some quality games. I don't think any of them really have involved England, but
no. I did watch some of the France South Africa game. That was like the first half.
yeah,
That was good.
if like when we talk about Premier League, there's always controversy around refereeing. Now that
Yeah,
France game against South Africa, that had some controversy when it comes to kind of
yeah.
refereeing. But are we going to pivot into a rugby pod or not?
Definitely not. Well, definitely
No.
not. We'll bring it very quickly back to fantasy football. But out of interest, I was going to ask you last international break and I forgot. But between the deadline closing and you seeing your points from game week 8 to now coming up Friday when you're gonna have to think about your game week 9, your early kick-off on the Saturday, how much time do you spend during the international break actually looking at your team and planning, or do you just
Mm.
switch off for 10 days?
Yeah, no time at all. I couldn't
Gone.
care less. I couldn't care less. I may go on Twitter for other reasons, right? And then like, hey, my feed might say, hey, Son has scored a goal or whatever. Rashford is injured or something like that. But beyond that, I don't actively look for stuff. I kind of switch off. Like if you ask me who's playing on the weekends, I have no idea, right? So I'm going in with no preparation. I'm going in kind of raw. So this is going to be pretty enlightening today. So I'm hoping you've
Well,
got the fixture tickers. You've got all the stats to kind of help me out a little bit. Yeah,
I've got your back.
I've got no knowledge at the moment. So yeah, I just switch off. I just switch off.
I've got your back. The very first screen that's coming up is actually the fixture ticker. So let's well jump into it. So that'll help you straight off the bat. So this is from Hub. As we know, they like to split
Cool.
it, which is useful. So this is from an
It's from
attacking
Fix.
standing
It's from
point of
Fix.
view. Fix. What
You
did I
just pulled
say?
out
Did I say what?
their biggest competitor.
What? What was I talking about? Yeah, ignore that. That's from it's too many. It's from Fix, and Fix is the best. Because Hub doesn't split it into attack and defense, unlike Fix, which is what we prefer. But yeah, this is the fixture ticker. Looking at the attack side, Villa up on top. Um, yeah, there you go. So there's your fixtures. Any immediate thoughts?
um, well, we're both off fresh off the wild card, aren't we? We both wild carded game week 8, so our team should be jam packed full of like players from these teams, and like we've both got Watkins, I believe. Do you have any other Villa attackers? I've gone double Villa defense, but no,
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 I've just got Cash, obviously, my main man,
cool.
and Watkins.
But yeah, Liverpool good fixtures for like a long period as well. I've gone Darwin and Salah. I think you've just gone just Salah from Liverpool. So I've rolled the dice and gone with Darwin to make the most of those attacking fixtures. Forest is really mixed. Really, there's the Luton fixture, and then game week 13 and 14 is a little bit better. But I know you've got Gibbs White, so that is a real kind of ripe fixture. Palace are a bit of a non-entity from an attacking point of view with Eze being injured, which is a shame. I think we were both potentially eyeing up as a bit of a cheap midfielder enabler. So it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, of the fantasy relevant teams, Villa and Liverpool are up there at the top. When we look down a little bit lower, but still with favourable fixtures, Arsenal and West Ham are going to come to the fore pretty soon. Arsenal have
Yeah.
Chelsea away game week 9, which is a tough fixture. I know we are both low on Chelsea after like we tripled up on them, and did you triple up? I tripled up. I don't think you did you?
Just the two, Chilwell and Jackson, but that was enough.
Yeah, exactly. I think I'd had those two and Sterling on top, so they were performing good in terms of underlying stats, but didn't get the results. But they are a good team. West Ham have got Villa away, which is tough. But yeah, both game week 10 onwards, Arsenal and West Ham have a really nice kind of run from an attacking point of view. So Arsenal are Sheffield United at home, Newcastle away, which is probably the second hardest fixture. But then it's Burnley at home, Brentford away, Wolves at home. That's a nice run. West Ham at Everton at home in game week 10, Brentford away, game week 11, Forest at home 12, Burnley away 13, Palace at home 14. So yeah, nice little run there from game week 10 onwards for both of them. So yeah, those are the fantasy relevant teams I think there from an attacking point of view: Villa, Liverpool, Arsenal, and West Ham. So yeah, I'm a bit underrepresented of Arsenal and West Ham, but that could well change.
Yeah. So two things to ask you on this then. So we joked about it, but there are a lot of players in the community that are now no Haaland and they spread the funds elsewhere.
Yeah,
City on this fixture ticker for the attack, not in the top 10. I think they were 12th from
yeah.
memory. Do you still feel like that's a mistake to go without Haaland?
It's not a mistake.
No.
You just need your alternatives to bang. I'm sure. Again, I'm saying I'm a bit rustier, but I'm sure you'll have some stats tables that have Haaland top on the predicted points, and he's probably got the top
It's
by
coming.
far in terms of expected points thus far as well, right? So you just need your alternatives to kind of bang. I mean, I was quite comfortable with my enablers that allowed Haaland. I was very happy with having in Gordon was my cheap midfielder. I think he plays for a good team, good underlying stats in the long term. They're not appearing here for the short and medium term,
Yeah.
but like long term, they have some kind of really nice fixtures. I was happy with like a Dan Burn over a Trippier. I know Trippier is going to continue to kind of do well, but yeah, I was kind of happy. But like no Haaland, it's a valid tactic. You just need to make sure that game week 10. I think it's game week 10 when they've got. Well, no, this game week is a risky one, right? They're kind of playing Brighton, right? So yeah, I think Brighton got really poor defense. So yeah, you've got to kind of hope your captaincy kind of choices in those key game weeks kind of come through, and that those are like what the extra funds have enabled, they come through. So you better hope Trippier does well. You better hope your Bowen, if you got him in your midfield, come through. So yeah, there's a bit of risk involved, but it's a valid tactic. And if you're going to do it anytime this year outside of injury, now's the time to do it.
Yeah. Tell you what it was. The only reason I wouldn't do it, I just didn't want to watch Man City every week and know Haaland can bang a hat trick in any game. And that game week 11, when he's at home to Bournemouth, not having him in that game. Not even that. Like even in the game, like any other game he's playing away at Liverpool, I still think Haaland can bag a brace, and I just don't want to watch him. I panic it'd make me hate football, so I had to keep him in.
No, exactly. Yeah, is it worth that risk? Like for me, it wasn't really. Like, and who are you getting in instead? Like for Trippier,
Yeah,
like Trippier's a very good player, but like yeah, you can have a very good team with Haaland, and this is kind of what I found, and I think you felt the same as well. So yeah, good luck to the guys who've gone without there. Probably looking pretty good so far, given the kind of blank against Arsenal. But bear in mind, that was the hardest fixture he's going to have.
yeah, true there. Now, the episode's called Is it all about Mo Salah? But you've already pointed out Liverpool are second on the fixture ticker for the attack. Should it be Salah +1? I know you've gone for Darwin. Would
Well,
you?
I thought if I'm wildcarding now, I needed to jump on those Liverpool fixtures. They're just too good to ignore. And like Liverpool from a attacking point of view, I think have been very, very good as well. So I think it's only going to improve with those fixtures because they've had tough fixtures like so far.
Mm.
Yeah. So I went Darwin because I've spoken about it a while. I think when he plays, he's the best player in the game. Like his output like dwarfs. Well, it's not his output, his input in terms of underlying stats like dwarfs like Haaland per 90, right? Obviously, some of that is game state. I'm not stupid. I know sometimes he comes on when they're chasing a game and whatnot, but like yeah, he consistently puts out great stats, and yeah, I just think he's the main man. I know sometimes I say he'll play as the nine, and I know there's no other nine, and there can be false nines and all that kind of stuff. But I think he's an important part of the best front three, and I think
Yeah.
given how the league is progressing, I think like Liverpool will be prioritizing it rather than like Europa League. And I think Diaz, Salah, and Darwin are going to play. That's the preferred front three, in my opinion, right? So I think they're going to play the majority of games. So I could see that, like that cringy word, the upside there. So yeah, I went for two, and it was driven by those fixtures. But like I appreciate people wanted a bit more certainty, and there's lots of very good options. If I didn't go for Darwin, if I went for Archer as a bench fodder, I could have got a Bowen in. Right, so Bowen
Yeah.
is great. Or I could have got a Solanke who, again, Bournemouth are on this ticker is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like the seventh best team in terms of attacking. So you got Wolves and Burnley at home next too. So there's other valid options, but I just love those fixtures from an attacking point of view for
Yeah.
Liverpool.
Yeah. Well, I like that. I'm assuming from a Liverpool defence point of view, we'll move on to the defence from Fantasy Football Fix, just to re-highlight who delivers these tables for us. But Liverpool are third on this one. Would you trust their defence?
That's not worth the price. Not worth the price at all. I mean, um, well, actually, Robertson's injured now, isn't he? Apparently, so I did see that, and it looks like he's out for. Did he have like a dislocate the shoulder or something like that? It looked like a
Yeah.
arm or shoulder type injury. So Simicast could be it, right? Because he's like what? He's 4.5 or 4.4 million. So there could be some
Dropped to
value there.
4.4.
He's very attacking. Robertson, interesting, has been outperforming Trent from a attacking point of view in terms of underlying stats. Trent really hasn't done anything yet. Obviously, historically, he's the best defender from a attacking point of view, but this season he hasn't really shone, right? So
Yeah.
he's expensive. Van Dijk is expensive. Allison's always an interesting option because he gets saves, but like, I mean, is he going to outperform some of the 4.5s by that much? Probably not. So yeah, I'm not a fan, and their defense is not great. I think I'm guessing at the moment, but I'd imagine their team expected goals conceded has been pretty poor. But like on top of your fixture ticker for the next game week 9 to game week 14, Newcastle, unsurprisingly, Arsenal, which is an interesting one, Liverpool, Burnley, West Ham, Villa, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, Brentford, and Man United. So there's quite a few fantasy relevant teams there. So Newcastle obviously are looking really good. Crystal Palace at home, Wolves away, Arsenal, Bournemouth away, Chelsea at home, United at home. I've got Burn. I think have you on Burn as well?
Yeah, just for the
I think
price.
yeah, that's a nice run. He can play most games. I think people with Trippier and maybe double up on the Newcastle defense. That looks like a good choice there. Arsenal. Not many people have many Arsenal defenders at the moment, but like I think game week 10 wildcarders will be going hard. On an interesting note, I think that their defense is relatively better than their attack at the moment. There's other teams that are as good, if not better, at attacking than Arsenal at the moment. But from a defensive point of view, I think it's only Man City who are better. So, yeah, I'm kind of considering a game week 10 move to like a Gabriel or a Saliba for sure. So, I want to get into that Arsenal kind of the defense, and yeah, some other good teams there like Villa. I'm already doubled up on that defense. Happy days. West Ham, I've got Areola. So yeah, like it's kind of good seeing this. I mean, like they're all teams that we kind of expect. Anyone who's like looking at the game, they'll know these are the defenses to target. I mean, does anyone stand out to you? Surprising.
I was just going to ask, did you think after the first 3 game weeks you would ever be considering getting Gabriel back in your team?
Well, like I think I think we spoke about it, and we said Zinchenko was the key, right? So I think there
Agreed.
was rumors of like some whatever, like contract kind of talks where he's trying to, kind of like some trying to match like Saliba's contract and stuff like that. But it felt like it was more of a Zinchenko thing being out, and that kind of model that they want of an inverted midfielder. So now Zinchenko is back, I think, and the form has come with it. Like, and they've been pretty defensively solid. I'm confident he'll play most games. I mean, there is a bit of doubt. So
Yeah.
when if I'm considering a defender from Arsenal, I'll consider like that. The consideration weighing up the cheaper price and more attacking output from Gabriel versus Saliba's nailedness, regardless of the system, right? So, but yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he's back. I mean, we were saying that like Zinchenko was the key.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Stand out to me, not majorly. I'm starting to worry that I've got Pedro Porro, but he's got a nice fixture this week. I am worried about Trippier, but again, he's nearly 7 million. If he's not touched 7 million already, he might have gone up to 7 million. He was 6.9 last I looked, and it's just getting to him. It'll be essential. I'll consider maybe a downgrade from Solanke to Archer to upgrade one of my 4.5 million defenders to a Trippier. I could do that. I won't be doing it anytime soon, as you've already pointed out. Bournemouth have got Wolves and Burnley at home the next two games. I'm not leaving. Solanke is playing both of them, so I won't be doing it anytime soon. But he's the only defender that panics me, to be honest, because he goes on these runs where he just gets 10 points for like 5-6 weeks in a row. Um, and that is, but he's the only one. He's the only one that I'm worried about. Again, similar to you, maybe in game week 10, I might consider just stand you out for a Gabriel, a Zinchenko,
yeah,
yeah, Saliba, but time will tell. I've got other fires to put out, I think, before I start worrying about defenders. I think I said last week when I played my wild card, I've set up my defense so I can swap between the five I've got now until about
mhm,
game week 16 quite comfortably.
yeah.
So I'm not too fussed about the defense at the minute.
No, you've made if you've gone without Trippier on your wild card, you've made your bed, right? So
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
what it is, really, because he's quite hard to get to, and you don't want to be messing around bringing him back in. And yeah, obviously, really a lot of people who would have kept Trippier or planning to keep Trippier on upcoming wildcards. It's difficult to fit him in. It's difficult to fit Trippier in if you've got Haaland, Son, and Salah, right? So those are the trade-offs you play. So the worrying thing about him is his ownership is really high, and Newcastle are really good defensively. And then if they do, well, he's always on track for bonus because of just his chance creation
constant.
because he's on like set pieces. But dare I say he's been a bit fortunate. He's definitely um, he creates a lot of chances, not often like clear cut big chances. So his expected assist kind of like stats don't. He's outperforming them at the moment, right? So you just want to hope that he regresses to the mean and will get clean sheets and gets bonus, but won't get an assist every single game.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that. If he comes out of a game with the 6 points, I'll see it as a win.
Yeah, no, same. Which is feels a bit stupid that we've gone without him, right? But hey,
Other people. Right. You mentioned before about player prediction points. We do have that. So this is looking at the next 5 game weeks.
uh-huh.
Unsurprisingly, Haaland is indeed on top. Which, yeah, I think these predictions always have Haaland on top, right?
Hmm. Yeah. So well, what it shows is Salah can match him. So people going without Haaland is pretty good. Obviously they're always going to be the top two players, but like there's literally the next 5 game weeks. The predicted points by according to Fix, not Hub, Fix.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
0.1 difference: 33.5 for Haaland, 33.4 for Salah, and Salah is a better captaincy option in game week 10 and game week 12. Next game week, this game week coming up, game week 9, it's you can flip a coin to see who's the better one, right? So yeah, I think on this one is like, hey, game week 11, as you alluded to, against Bournemouth, that's the risky one if you've gone without Haaland. So yeah, it's kind of like yeah, I'm not surprised by that. Next are Ødegaard and Saka. So yeah, I'm not surprised with those two. I think Saka's predicted points are a little bit down just because of his injury. So some doubts around game week 9, but I think yeah, Saka. It'd be interesting like, if I do consider going to an Arsenal midfield in game week 10, who's the better option, Saka or Ødegaard, or even indeed Martinelli, because Martinelli's more accessible. They're all interesting for different reasons, and it's kind of just annoying that Saka, you'd presume, is still the first choice penalty taker, but depending on how he's feeling, he might give it to
Giving
anyone
it
in
to
the
a mate.
team. Yeah, so that's a bit of a annoying one, but I get game week 10 onwards. Arsenal midfield is a pretty hot. I think I'll be probably targeting one, and then I knew we got next: Watkins, Bowen, Son. I agree with all those. I think Bowen is one of the big regrets that I don't have my wildcard team. I'd really like to have him. I think West Ham's run looks really good, and he's obviously central to their attack. I kind of disagree. Yeah, the next one's Gross, Foden, and Johnston. I kind of disagree with those ones. I imagine Gross's stats may be inflated because there's a bit of a penalty element on there. I guess if I was going to hazard a guess, but yeah, if I was going Brighton, I'd be targeting Mitoma. I think I'm on him over the March. I know before I was like pushing March hard, but Brighton, there's a lot of Europa League kind of potential rotation that you have to get your head around. And Foden, I think, the fixed predictions do have a love in with Foden, but like I think we can kind of say he's a bit of a dead as an option, right? Like he's been rotating in and out, but has had a run, but yeah, just hasn't performed on stats. So like Foden, I wouldn't be touching with a barge pole. Like,
I'm not a fan. Just too many. He's one of those players. There's a few, isn't there? You just get burnt every time you own them. They do absolutely nothing, and he's one of them. That's for the last 4 years.
No, exactly.
So I'm not going to touch him. But yeah, I agree. Gross seems like as the highest scoring Brighton player, especially when he's played some games at right back. It just doesn't work for me that is the highest. But I have put on the right. So who else to target? Arsenal versus West Ham versus Brighton. Because from game week 10, they all move to some very nice fixtures. Now, Saka's predicted to get the highest out of any of the players. In fact, no, it's Odegaard. Odegaard's third out of any of those teams. But you mentioned potentially looking to target an Arsenal player in game week 10. Are you giving consideration? You mentioned you'd maybe disappointed you haven't got Bowen. Are you looking to potentially get Saka and Bowen in, or is it one or the other?
Probably an Arsenal defender. Their defense has been really good. Maybe for Udogi, maybe for someone else, but like I think I'll be targeting an Arsenal defender and probably Saka. Martinelli's intriguing because my route to get to a Arsenal midfielder, and I'm hoping a lot of people will be put off doing this because I think it's the right move based on the fixture swings and just the relative team strengths. But some people will be like, I can't get rid of Son, I can't get rid of Maddison. My route to an Arsenal midfielder would be selling one of them. I think to get to Saka, I'd need to sell Son. To get to Martinelli, I could sell Maddison. So I'll have to kind of weigh up that one. It's kind of closer to the time. But I'll be targeting probably like double Arsenal kind of come game week 10 because I think they have a really favourite. I think they're playing Sheffield United on game week 10. United. Then they got Newcastle. So like I have to look how the rotation works with the rest of my team because I think Spurs actually have a nice game week 11. So like let's not just do it as a one game week view. But then after they got a really nice run. So I think who to target: Arsenal versus West Ham versus Brighton. Those are the teams to target. I think you called out the right ones. So I imagine people wildcard in game week 10 will be going Matoma, Stupinan, like Bowen, Areola, like triple Arsenal, like that be what they're kind of targeting. But if I was going to kind of rank them, it'll probably be in that order, to be honest. Arsenal, then West Ham, just because they have assurer assets, like Bowen, will play all the time and be the main man. Brighton have like a diversity of attackers you go for, right? So for that reason, Brighton then come after. But yeah, they're all good teams. Game week 10 onwards, spot on. And you can see it by this ticker, right? It's got 2 Arsenal players. It's got a gross, rather random Brighton player. Then it's got Bowen in there as well. I think it's probably similar to my read of the game. These top predicted point scorers. Darwin's missing, but like that's because his minutes is low. So
of course,
he'll
he is.
be the top. He'll be the top goal scorer
for the rest of the season. But on it works out nicely to captain pick. Now, ignore the highlighting. That when I put this up, that wasn't all highlighted. I was just trying to highlight the best of the bunch. But obviously, Haaland's blanked the last 2 game weeks. Now, I'm not here to sit and suggest that Haaland's now going to blank for the next 2 game weeks by any stretch of the imagination. He's still the best striker in the world. But do you see when you've got Haaland at home to Brighton, but you've got Salah at home to Everton, and you've got Son at home to Fulham, that there's a potential other captaincy option? So the stats that I've just brought in, looking at the defences that they're playing, so the worst defence is Fulham out of those 3 teams with 14.9 expected goals conceded. Brighton aren't far back. It's only 14.58, so it's very close. With expected goal involvement, Salah's top with 9.62, but again, Haaland's not far off with 9.44. Son's way down. Well, not way down in terms of the rest of the league, but compared to Salah and Haaland, he's back on 5.78. So in theory, Salah's the best for goal involvement. Well, Fulham has the worst defence.
Yeah.
So Haaland's not top, nor is his defence the worst. Where are you going?
Firstly, let's give our graphic designer some feedback, and he's not going to get any pay this week. Another mistake from our
terrible
highly
highlight.
skilled technical graphic designer. What is he like? I think for me, Haaland is kind of clear this week because, kind of Brighton they're a better team than Fulham and Everton, but like they're really bad defensively, really, really bad. Who knows? They may pull over a tactical masterclass, but like, they're bad defensively, right? And by some, like, Everton are an okay team. Like, let's be honest. I think they've been underperforming. Like, that's little ex-Pickford owners. They got unlucky, and the ones who held, like, good that you got your little haul in game week 8 because he deserved it. But Everton being okay, like, that's somewhat biased by easy fixtures, but like Everton are okay. So like Everton's expected goals conceded is 12.18. Brighton and Fulham are way behind, right? They're 14.58, 14.90. The difference between Brighton and Fulham is marginal, right? So like whatever, I'm not going to read too much into it. And like let's also kind of say that these stats are very biased by the sample size, right? So it depends on who they've played, right? So to give a proper view, you'd have to weight that up against the difficulty fixtures they've had. But Brighton and Fulham are bad from a defensive point of view. We know that. The expected goal involvement, obviously, if I like the Son is just under 6 expected goal involvement for the season. Haaland, Salah, 9.5, like give or take. Obviously, something that you missed that's kind of not missed, but like something this stat doesn't reveal is expected goal involvement, which is a combination of assists and goals. Obviously, goals is what we want, right? Because they're kind of worth 5 points, and an assist is worth 3, right? So Haaland's like expected goal involvement is heavily weighted towards goals. Salah has actually been a creator this year. Do you know what I mean? Outside of like the penalties. So I'm reading that Everton are not too bad. So that's not in Salah's favour. I'm reading that Brighton are bad. That's Haaland's favour. I'm viewing that Haaland and Salah are both excellent kind of choices. But Haaland, he's getting the goals rather than the kind of assists, and he's playing a easier defense on paper, I would say. So for me, I think Salah is a good option, a very good option. I think Haaland is better. I don't think Son is a great option this week. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not
feeling it.
I'm not feeling that.
Well, just to put that into expected goals for Haaland, 7.99.
Yeah.
Salah 5.3.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's the assist 4.32 for Salah and only 1.45 expected for Haaland. So yeah, you're right. He's being much more of the creative. Do you ever take into account with this sort? Maybe not for this week, but when it's like more of a 50-50, I get the point that Haaland seems the obvious one really here. But if it was more of a 50-50, would you go for the midfielder just for the extra point for the goal, or would you just
Um,
flip a coin?
uh, kind of. Only if like because of that, I'm expecting them to score some more points, right? So like it's not
Yeah,
just a stupid answer. Like I go with whoever I think scores the most points, but obviously
yeah, yeah,
sometimes when it's close, like the midfield influence does play into account there. The baseline
yeah,
points they can get is better, right? Because they get the clean sheet bonus, they get the extra point for a goal. So that comes into account. Yeah, that comes into account. And
yeah,
like in the coming game weeks, I'm quite comfortable captaining Salah over Haaland quite a few times. Not game week 11, but game week 10. I think I'm comfortable captaining Salah. So yeah, I'll do
yeah.
the rotation next couple of ones.
It's nice, isn't it? It's nice when you don't captain Haaland. It's panicky, but it feels like we're playing FPL again rather than just everybody smashing the armband on the same player. So it means absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you know what?
So
I
it's
kind of like
very great.
I've historically hated chips. I've hated captaincy because I think they just add that bit of randomness. Do you know what I mean? So like, I've enjoyed it,
Yeah,
but like yeah, it's kind of fun when it's I guess yeah, it does give that kind of variety of options. I mean, this season generally though is like there are like lot more options than previous seasons. Like I think if you look at low owned players, there's like loads under 20% that are really interesting. So yeah, I think it's nice that captaincy's an option now, but like even before that, I think this season's given us a like wealth of options that previous
yeah,
seasons haven't. So yeah, it's all good.
yeah. Well, we'll move on. We will come up back onto our teams a little bit later on and our thoughts over the last week, but we're going to move on to what is generally my favourite part and my favourite subject in this matter, which is questions for Matt. But we have teased it already last week and a little bit on Twitter that we've got a new little section that'll be coming up next. So stay
Ooh.
tuned for that. But questions for Matt, we will jump in. Kerry Evans entered a question. FPL Geezer has answered a question. So thank you both for that. Kerry, you touched on this already, but he's talking about Arsenal. Do you think it's a sensible strategy to dodge them until after the Newcastle game and get them in from game week 12 rather
Ooh.
than just taking the one game in game week 10? So just to help with that, we'll bring it back to the Arsenal fixtures. There they are, second from the top. So yeah, Gary's basically saying should he bring them in when they start to play Burnley, Brentford, Wolves, rather than go
Uh,
heavy in game week 10 and be stuck with two or three of them when they've got Newcastle away in game week 11.
yeah, I think the longer answer is it depends of who else you're playing and who you're bringing them in for and how your squad rotates. Like I don't think you'd bench an Arsenal player, but maybe a defender would. Who could you bench game week 11 for Gabriel or Saliba? I think the short answer is say no because Sheffield United are by far the worst team in the league. I think they're the worst team we've seen in the league since like Norwich a few years ago. Do you remember like Norwich of like Luis
14
Suarez days
points,
where
was
he
it?
used to get like 4 goals and that sort of stuff?
Hat-trick every time he played them.
Sheffield United are awful, right? So that's like so that's the trigger, right? So like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I
So
mean,
just to
if you can
gamble and get the points.
exactly, I think that there's probably a valid target, a valid tactic this year of just targeting whoever's playing Sheffield United at home. They are
Yeah.
awful, aren't they? And like, I've been pleasantly surprised you revealed some stats after I've like speculated on the stats. But I bet if you looked at team stats, Sheffield United would be miles behind on those expected goals goals conceded as a team. They are so bad.
Well, if you keep talking, I'll find out that stuff for you right now.
Should I emphasize how bad they are? They're so,
Just
so.
keep
Um,
telling everybody how bad they are.
um,
But yeah,
so
expected
bad.
goals conceded. So they're yeah they are miles. So Bournemouth are second worst
Oh, really? I'm
with
surprised at that.
yeah Bournemouth. So they're expected goals against 19.75 for Bournemouth. Third is Luton with 17.41.
Yeah.
Sheffield United 21.27.
Wow, that shocked me. That is, they're probably actually. I think I saw something on like Twitter that said all the teams in the top 5 leagues in Europe, whatever, and then expected goal difference. Sheffield United, they're all the way down there. They're by far the worst team. But we're talking about Brighton as being a bad defense, right? They got 14.5 goals conceded in the first 8 game weeks. Wow, Sheffield United are nearly 22 expected goals
Yeah.
conceded. They are awful, yeah. So if you're going for Arsenal, you want to be going in for that game. It's by far the best game anyone can face at the moment. And, there's enough evidence to say that. So you got to play those probabilities. Like, yeah, I mean, you need a good excuse not to go target that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, shocking.
And just don't worry about the Newcastle one. Just it is what it is. Get the points in the early one. Giza, on to Giza's question. So have you kind of get asked this in it previously, so I've changed it slightly if Giza's thinking why that isn't my question. I've changed kind of what Giza said. So we both had a slow start. We're not afraid to admit it, right?
You're just asking whatever you want, man. Let's change this.
I'm just asking. I'm asking what Giza said, but in a slightly different format.
Arrogance. Look at
So,
that.
have you got any transfers in mind to help you get ahead of the herd? So his question was
Um,
that, but with a added because you've started poorly and are you changing the way you play? But I know the answer to that's no because you answered it last week. I just want to ask any pre-book transfers to get ahead. So Darwin is a good example.
yeah, but I went for Darwin for logic, right? I got him because I just thought he was going to score lots of points because I thought he versus the other options, Alvarez, Solanke, whatever. Like I think he's just going to score more points, and that's based on Liverpool's fixtures, and also me just forming a view that I think he's going to play majority of the games, and the games that he doesn't is worth the risk because of his point ceiling based on his underlying stats, right? So, do I have any book transfers? Yeah, game week 10, I'm targeting Arsenal, like as I've said before. Am I changing the way I play because of my really bad start? And it is really bad. So I think, what am I 4 million now, or 3 million, or just under
You
4
broke
million?
you broke 4 million. You're back in the threes.
Nice. So like loads have gone wrong, right? Do you know what I mean? I kind of started right from before the game week 1 deadline where I missed the Gabriel benching leak, so I went for missed out on Saliba and his assist in his little mini haul there. I got Reece James who got injured. I went Havertz who played all the minutes but didn't really do too much from output point of view. I kind of jumped onto triple Chelsea. So yeah, I'm doing really bad, and like compared to other like active and engaged managers, no one's doing really well. I think there's a rare few examples, but a lot of us been caught up with Manchester United and Chelsea underperforming. So no one's like most like well-known and engaged managers. They're not doing as well as previous seasons. But even then, I've got there's quite a gap from me to them, which is like it's hard to take. But yeah, it is what it is ultimately. But I'm really saying very confidently, I think my underlying play has been really good, and so I might be
Have the
deluded
confidence.
or I might be
No, have the
arrogant. But
confidence.
I think when there's the decisions with the not with hindsight, but the decisions that I made with the information that was on at hand at the time, I think have been really good, right? So there's been a few things where I've rolled the dice for certain reasons, but the reasons I rolled the dice have been true. Like so, Havertz, people would say I rolled the dice because I thought he was going to get with the injury to Jesus. I thought he was going to get the minutes, and I thought he was going to play 9. He didn't play 9, but he did get the minutes, and his underlying stats were better than Odegaard and Martinelli for the period I had him. So yeah. I got the inputs were right, but the output didn't come. Like the triple Chelsea. Chelsea won every game based on expected goals. Chilwell, Jackson, not Sterling because he's had his haul now, but I missed his hauls. But when I had him, they were some of the biggest underperformers in the game. Same goes for Bruno Fernandes. Same goes for Rashford. So I think I didn't go for Alvarez, but Alvarez has been getting the hauls from an expected goal involvement of like 0.2, right? So He's a
Yeah,
great player, but
yeah,
he's been super lucky. Unless he's the best, most efficient player, 5 times better than Messi at that. Like he's not. He's a great player, but he's been on a hot streak where he's been fortunate. So I think with the info I had at hand, I think my decision making has been relatively solid. I think the one thing that stands out as a bit of a mistake is it's a minor one. I got an Udogi game week 4 or 5 for Gabriel. Gabriel then got a clean sheet and a few thereafter. I got a new doggy just because I needed a good player for last game week, but I actually wildcarded then, so I didn't really know that. So I think that was a minor mistake. I got some regrets. I went Diaz over loads of other defenders, but Diaz plays for the. And he got his own. He got his own goals as well. He rewarded me with like yellow cards and own goals. He is the most nailed defender. He played every game. That was the thing I was betting. Will he play every game? He played every game. And Man City did Man City things where they're the best defense and they just concede an absolute random goal. I like to rub salt into the wound. He's had an own goal in one of the kind of more recent game weeks. So I'm rambling now, but like long story short, I'm not changing the way I'm playing because I think I think my decision making has been really good based on the info at hand, and I think some people just got lucky. Like I'm the way I'm compartmentalizing a bad start is like, okay, I'm 15 points behind people artificially because I missed the league with Gabriel. I'd be looking a lot better and more closer to the mean if that didn't happen. Then some people have had a random goalkeeper haul. Like some people had Onana, who was a really bad pick. They got a lucky haul when he should have got a red card in game week 1, right? Yeah. Pickford has been pretty unlucky. He got no goal as well, didn't he? Pickford got no goal in.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Bounced off the post onto his head and back in. So there's lots of these instances where I'm just like, hey, can I? Yeah, some people got lucky. I just haven't. The only bit of luck I've had is Pau Torres last game week, who I knew was going to come off my bench, by the way, but I wasn't expecting him to get a goal. So, it's coming. Like these things do even themselves out. So I'm just putting it down to luck, right? I don't think I've made a bad decision yet. So call me deluded. I'm going to keep.
No. Mate, I said right at the start. You've got an average finish. You play for 8 seasons, and your average finish is 6,500. You've got to have faith in what you do because that's a ridiculous average finish. So you got to have faith in yourself, right?
It'll be coming. Unless I delete my account for this season. Yeah, it'll be probably coming down. That average will be coming down for sure. But I think I played all right. I think like a regret is not going Salah like from the start because like he's the best FPL asset of all time, probably like just around longevity and stuff. But Liverpool had tough fixtures, right? And there was other options. Unfortunately, I went double United midfield. So there's things around the edges, but like generally, I think I've played pretty good and just been really, really unlucky.
Yeah.
But we're all. It's like what's that statement from? Was it Shawshank Redemption? It's like what you were in prison for, and it's like everyone's innocent. They say something like everyone in prison's like innocent, but like everyone playing FPL, if they're bad at it, everyone's unlucky.
It's always unlucky. It's always unlucky. My brother,
right?
my brother always, as soon as somebody bangs in a game week, he was like, I was going to bring him in and I forgot. It's like, but that's every week. But on to transfer of the week. Now, Andy Ritchie sent 2 questions. I put one on. The other one, just in case you're interested, was other than Bowen, who would you get from West Ham as an attacker?
No
I'm going to give Andy 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, probably no one.
No one, just Bowen.
Well,
not even James Ward-Prowse?
Ward-Prowse, yeah. Ward-Prowse, yeah. I was trying to think who else plays them. I know you were a fan of like Antonio, but he ain't going to be playing for them. It's going to be Bowen up front. But like, Bowen.
He seemed to start. Yeah.
I'm anti-bullying. I don't like how he is bullying Richarlison. So, and I've got a soft spot for you see that little podcast, Callum Wilson and Antonio making fun of Richarlison. Yeah.
So I did. I've just to point out, never been a fan of Antonio. It's just I had about 6 million to put on a striker, and I was like, well, he might get lucky with a goal or two. West Ham are good. Um, but Andy, so there you go, Andy. James Ward-Prowse, Bowen, or no one.
Yeah.
But transfer question that I've put on is he still has Sterling, so he got the nice little 16 points. But now Chelsea's fixtures are about to swing and look
Mm.
absolutely disgusting. If you're selling Sterling this week, which 7 million or less midfielder are you getting
Um,
in?
I'm presuming it's
Maybe
for
Ward-Prowse.
yeah, I'm presuming it's for like the long run rather. If it was 1 week only, I'd probably
Yeah,
go Gibbs White if I'm being honest. Like, let me do a.
it's good to
I
hear.
can't even
That's nice
remember.
to
Was it?
hear.
Yeah, yeah. I think you've done a nice little pick there.
He didn't do anything last week though. Hopefully this week makes up for it because
Yeah,
it's his
I'm
last
trying
week.
to.
He'll be gone.
No, definitely. I'm going to try and just actually have a look what midfielders are within that price range because my mind is absolutely blank. So Ward
Yeah.
Prowse would be the one
So you'll
that
have a
Ward Prowse would be the one that stands out to me. Not Ward Prowse, sorry.
yeah.
Bowen would be the one that stands out for me. So we'll put it up to 7 midfield, 7.5. We'll do it
Yeah,
midfielder.
so you'll have like all of Brighton law, so you could get any of the Brighton midfielders in. Could get if you wanted to
Mm.
take a gamble on Liverpool's with their fixtures, Sobersley fits in at that price, but probably not going to get as many attacking returns as the Brighton midfielders. I wouldn't imagine. It's just not the way Liverpool play. Your favourite midfielder in the of the season so far? You could get Decore, but
Yeah,
with Everton's fixtures,
he's honestly a decent bet, but Everton's fixtures are now are now
yeah,
swung. So, like, honestly, I'd say it's kind of like if we stretch a little bit higher, Bowen is the best. Like, let's be honest, he scored the points, but he is better. Diaby, I still think is good for. We looked at Villa; they're second on
yeah,
on the ticker. Neto, I don't really believe in him just because I don't really know where to position Wolves. So I just think there will come a week where you're like, why have I got a Wolves midfielder starting? But a great price point. Mitoma, I think if you want to run that kind of gamble on Brighton's fixtures and gamble that he's going to play every game, which there's nothing to say he hasn't, it's just a bit of a concern that people have, right? So Mitoma
yeah,
would be a great option. And Bumo is still an option. I know he's not done well, but he's still a very attacking player with on pens on every single like set play. Um, Gordon, I like long term. Ward Prowse is okay. I think that's the ex Luis Diaz, like for that
he has,
Liverpool. If you want to
yeah.
bet on him, so I think that's like 5 or so. I didn't do anything scientific there. I just like literally filtered
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
5 points
But your
scored. But
gut,
um,
your gut is
Bowen is
Bowen, no question.
Bowen is a standout. Yeah, if you can
And
stretch that.
if
If not, I'd say probably Mitoma after that.
so,
After hit, but no, I'd actually say I'd rank it Bowen, DRB, Matoma. I think it would be the top three around
there you
that
go.
price bracket.
Three to pick from Andy, and you're not getting two questions next week. Next week, just that's a one-off. Whoever sends in the transfer questions, it's not two every week. That is purely it. You can thank me later, Andy. Okay, moving on to what could become, depending on how it goes, my favorite part of the episode. It's nothing surprising. I think others have done this, but it is Matt versus Dave. So the reason we've kind of brought this in is you're getting asked a lot of questions are getting submitted to you, Matt, which are all about who are you going to get in to make it a differential to build your way up the ranks. I got probably asked that question about 7 times this week alone. So I was like, you know what, let's make a little section of it. Now, this isn't the point I'm going to make to the listeners. The picks we make here are for one game week and one game week only. They have to be owned by 15% of people or less. And they can't, I'll repeat, they can't be in our current teams. Now, I can pick people from Matt's team, but I can't pick people from my own. Matt can't pick people in his team, but he can pick them from my team. So just a little bit of a competition. Obviously, the current scores is 0-0 because it's the first week we've done it. Matt gets to pick first in the odd game weeks. I get to pick first in the even game weeks. And we genuinely don't know who each other has picked. So I've got 4 names in front of me just in case Matt nicks any of mine. But we're playing the differential picks. Matt, you get to go first. Anybody 15% or under,
Oh,
this
are we
game
doing
week
one at a
only.
time? Are we?
One at a time. You get to go first. And then what we'll do
Right.
is we'll add up whatever they scored together, combined. and the winner gets a
Love
point.
it.
So there'll be a
Love
forfeit
it.
at the end of the season, or there'll be a trophy for the person who wins, or so
Love it.
feel free to write in. Give us a message on YouTube, or give us a message on Spotify. Tell us which is it a forfeit or is it a trophy? Forfeit's
Uh,
definitely going to win out of those two options, and then we'll decide what the forfeit is.
yeah, let's do it. Let's
Um,
keep it.
I
Let's
don't know why
keep
I'm
it
doing that when I'm
easy.
playing against the fifth best player in the world. Why I've decided that that's a thing, but that's what we're going to do.
Well, you're a
Uh,
random
so,
guy, and you're always about chasing the horn. I'm about
chase the
grinding. So
dream.
I
Chase the
reckon it.
dream.
I reckon it fits in with your playing style. But I'm a fan of this actually, so this is a bit of a surprise. But I know I've been going on to you like all season that I love the draft game because I've had like random players like the Core doing well and Dan Juma and stuff like that in the draft game, just because you can play it week by week and pick these like low end players from like non-glamorous teams. So it's quite a fun way of playing the game. So I've got a question for you, mate. So they can be any player as long as it's less than 15% owned, yeah?
Correct, and they can't be in your current
Okay,
team.
cool. So I'm gonna play the fixtures, right? So I'm looking at who's got the easiest games. United are playing Sheffield United away. Forest are playing Luton at home. Who are playing Bournemouth Wolves? That's an interesting one. Brentford have got a good game as well. Man City. I'm not see what's Bruno Fernandez. Like you can see, this is
Right, it's
surprise
too
because
much. Too much. He's 20 odd percent, so he's out.
I don't know. Is he? Is he though?
Yeah, you can't. I looked because I was going to get him. You can't have Rashford either because he's too well owned. Now, if you want a United player, there is one there at 6.5% owned.
Mm, mm, mm. You know what? I think you. I
Mr.
think you got.
Hoyland.
That's an interesting one. You know what? I'm going to go Gibbs White.
Gibbs White for your first.
Yeah.
You fancy him this week, don't you? At home to
Oh
Luton.
yeah. I think he'll do. I think he'll do well.
Okay. No,
Cool.
that
Great.
wasn't one that I could pick. So you take him. I am going to take a gamble
Oh yeah.
because he might not start, but if he does, he's got expected goal involvement of 4.62 from 311 minutes on the pitch, and he's at home to Everton.
I knew that is. It's
I'm picking a
Darwin.
Mr. 12.6% owned Darwin Núñez. So there's my
I
first.
like it.
I've got to
I
back
like
my
it.
Liverpool man.
I like it. On a Liverpool trend, I could go Jota. I could go Trent.
Yeah, you know what? The defence, Trent is under 15. Oh, that surprised me. Him and Robertson are under 10% owned.
Okay, I'm going to just be
It
fun. So
doesn't.
Trent would be quite a boring answer. So I'm going to go. Oh, does Jota? Jota's going to start instead of Diaz or Darwin. He's going to play instead of one of them, I'm sure. So I'm going to go Jota.
You'd think with the international.
Yeah, I'm going
Got
to
to
go.
go Jota.
He's going to start whether it's on the wing or up front. Like so, he's going to eat in a minute. So I'm going to go Jota. He's 1.3%.
Yeah, okay. So Gibbs White and Jota for you, and I will pair Darwin Núñez. I think it's either Hoyland, because I don't rate Sheffield United at all, but I don't rate
Mm.
Man United enough to get him. Or I'm going to go back to somebody that started off the season well, but has dropped off quite dramatically. They're playing Burnley and get Wissa.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not overly convinced, but he's got an expected goal involvement of 3.93, and Burnley's expected goals conceded is 14.85. So their defence isn't all that. He'll start. He'll play up front. I think Brentford are not a bad side.
No,
Yeah, you know what?
I can hear
I'm going
you.
to go Wissa. I'm going to bring Wissa.
No,
So
I
there you
like
go.
it.
It's Gibbs White and Jota versus Darwin Núñez and Wissa.
I can't believe you went for Visser. Yeah.
Not a fan.
No. I thought you would.
I'm,
I'm
I'm doing
looking.
what this.
There's so many options actually. Some of these players, like you think it would be really obscure, but there's like so many very good players that are like
The
available.
others, the others are
That
noted.
percentage. Yeah.
So I've got Hoyland noted. I've got Anthony Gordon noted because he's only 5.5%
Yeah.
owned.
Gordon is a
But if I
shout. Yeah.
took Darwin, I didn't want to take another player that's in your team. It's
Yeah.
like that's not fun. I'll take one in your team. I can't take two. And then I looked at Louis Diaz, but I can't double up on Liverpool. I don't want to jinx them.
No, makes
So
sense.
I'm
I think
gonna I'm gonna
my I guess honourable mentions are Trent, of course. I think that's a good
yeah,
one. Hoyland as well. So yeah, kind of targeting that United attack against United. Kulusevski for Spurs,
nice. Yeah,
2.3% owned. So I think he's been looking pretty dangerous. And yeah, I know you've got him as well. So I didn't go for it because I don't want two players that you own. But Solanke against Wolves. I mean, he's 90 minutes man, penalty taker, right? I think against a weaker team, he can always get something, right? So would you be
yeah.
surprised if he finishes that game with 9 points, a 1-0 win? No. So I
I'll
think
take it.
he's a good option as well. But yeah, Jota, I think I've got him in my draft. I brought him for my draft team. So like I think he's going to start, and like yeah, hopefully it'll be a high scoring game. And then Gibbs White, yeah, I think he'll do well. I think he's got an attacking return in him at least against Luton at
Yeah,
home.
yeah, yeah. Well, that's good to.
Oh,
I'm happy
we're
to
giving
hear
you
that because we'll
on
come
the
on to
back.
my team.
Well done to you for Gibbs White, and then well done for me for Darwin, right? So yeah, we're
Exactly,
complimenting each other.
exactly that. If we're covering each other's, but we'll see. We'll see who wins next week, and then we'll do it again. Um, all the way until either the end of the season or until you're 15-2 up, and then we'll just stop playing, and I'll take the forfeit.
Is that what we're
Um,
doing? Are we doing like, is it one if you beat me or I beat you, it's 1-0 then it's not
1-0,
cumulative scores.
exactly. Just
Oh,
1-0. Not cumulative scores. That's too hard to keep hold of.
fair
I'm just
enough.
gonna go
Fair enough.
1-0.
We should grind it
Unless you want to
away
do a
with
cumulative,
just get Alison Becker or something like that. Just get Becker, like get Alison like each week and just grind
get
away,
the
get
clean
him like
sheet.
clean sheets.
If you want to, I'm up for changing it. If you want to do a
No,
cumulative, I'll just go
let's do
one
it
nil.
flat. Let's do it flat.
Flat. We'll play score or whatever it is in golf. I'm not a golfer. But on to our reveals. Now we won't spend too much time on this because we did a little bit last week. Kind of touched on it. Nothing's changed. I'm still not going to do a transfer. I'll look at that 11. So just for those that are listening, maybe not watching on YouTube, I start an 11. By pure accident, every single one of them has a home fixture. I've got Turner in goal at home to Luton, Matty Cash at West Ham at home to West Ham. Burns got Palace, and then I really like Pedro Porro at home to Fulham. He's looked dangerous. Should have scored in the last game week twice, I think. He's got some really good underlying stats for assists and goals, so hopefully he can finally get on the score sheet. Across the midfield, again more Spurs. I've got Madison and Son at home to Fulham, and then I've got Mo Salah at home to Everton, who has the vice captaincy. That is the only thing that has changed, rather than Son. And then the man himself, Matt's first ever pick on Matt versus Dave, Gibbs White, who's at home to Luton. So hopefully he can bring those points. And then up front, Haaland captain. He's that's not going to move unless he gets injured. He's going to stick with the captaincy. And then Watkins are home to West Ham and Solanke are home to Wolves. But I'm looking at that, happy with every single all 11.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to change, so I'll carry it. The only thing that I have started to think about is looking at game week 10 onwards. Um, and then Solanke will probably go and get after game week 11 once he's had that Burnley home game. But in game week 10, I said last week, I'm struggling to find my way to an Arsenal player
Yeah.
without selling a Madison or a Son. Now, I don't like the idea of selling Son at all. So I can sell Madison and Gibbs White for Bowen and Matoma and just dodge Arsenal. Or I can sell Son and Gibbs White and get Bowen and Saka. What I haven't played with is selling Madison and getting Martinelli and Bowen. That could be a route to take. But
Yeah, I think you want an Arsenal player.
yeah,
I mean, if you,
yeah,
I'm not going to ask you to flick back, but like I'm sure, like if you look to the Arsenal's tickers better than the Brighton one, and predicted points for Arsenal are better than
yeah,
Brighton as well. So yeah, you can't have them all, right? So you just got to play
yeah,
with
yeah.
these swings really. So I think the I wouldn't be looking at Bowen and Mitoma. I'd be looking at um
Bowen and
yeah
Saka.
yeah or you could have Martinelli and Saka, but yeah, I think probably Bowen's a better bet than Martinelli. But like, yeah, of those two, Bowen and Saka is better. So what would that be? Madison, Bowen, and Saka is better than Son, Bowen, and Mitoma, in my opinion, just based on
Yeah.
all those facts like predicted points, Arsenal's like ability to kind of score goals, Saka's nailedness, all that kind of good stuff. Martinelli is an option.
Yeah.
Yeah, wait and see this weekend to see if he starts, see how he's playing and whatnot. So you kind of obviously he's been injured for a while, and he right. So who knows if they're easing him back in and whether he's going to be permanently kind of rotated. I think people say that all the time. He never is, but I think Saka is the main man. Isn't he?
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see if if he gets another deflected goal or
Yeah,
something
exactly.
for
He came in as
Martinelli.
a sub, and he came as a sub, and like it's not like he gave a fantastic performance. Like he just received the ball from Havertz at the end, the edge of the box, right, and deflected in. So you take that with a pinch of salt. But yeah, you got like so. I think those moves are cool. I think I reckon of those you'll have to unfortunately move Son out.
Yeah.
But the next thing is interesting. So Solanke to be moved in game week 11. I'm viewing Solanke as a long term hold. What's your problem with him?
Ex-Liverpool player, never did it for us. It's not a grudge. So it's a game week. The next 2 game weeks, perfect. Wolves at home, Burnley at home. Then he's got Man City. Then he's got Newcastle. And I just feel like I can potentially use the money to do something else. The
For
the
who?
fixtures just don't look great following those. I'll bring up who he's got then after that. I'm just looking at it and thinking, I don't. For me, he's not a long term hold. So after, as I say, Wolves are home, Burnley are home. Then he's got City away, Newcastle at home. Then he's got Sheffield United, fine, but then it's Villa, Palace away, Man United away.
Okay, yeah.
Just
No,
doesn't sit.
I kind of hear you. I mean, what are you thinking? Like, obviously, the price point is a bit sticky. I mean, like, you can go down to like a
Yeah,
Morris.
B. No, so I'd
Definitely.
end up
But Isak would
dropping
be the
him to an
ideal one.
Archer.
Down
Yeah,
to
yeah,
Archer.
yeah. I don't think I'll have the money though, because if
Okay.
I'm going for Saka, Bowen, who I really want to get, I'll have to drop Solanke to an Archer, become bench fodder, and then upgrade somebody on the bench. So I could
Yeah.
potentially get Trippier in. I could potentially get another midfielder in for Chucky, as we call him nowadays.
Well,
So I could
bear in
pen
mind you
Chucky in.
only have one free transfer because you would have made 2 in game week 10.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, Solanke's all right. Solanke's a bit of a setter for forget. So I think I can see the issue, but like it's who you can get to in one move. Then if you need 2, you just have to time it right. But I hear what you say. I hear what you're saying there. Yeah, I think the attacker other than Darwin, like who is obviously going to bang. Yeah, Isak is
Obviously,
going to become a really interesting option come um, after the Champions League group stages, which I think is game week 14, I believe. He's been looking great, getting like amazing kind of stats, like not far off like my man Darwin. Yeah, he's going to once like that, rotation threat for Champions League goes. That Isak is going to be kind of like a great option. So yeah, maybe you just have to grin and bear it until like he becomes an option, or
yeah.
Alvarez becomes an option at the other end once the City rotation changes. But I won't worry too much about Solanke.
Yeah, it's good to hear, because in my head, I'm like, he has to go. I'm pre-booking the transfer, and you've always told me don't pre-book transfers, so I'll do my best not to.
If you didn't have
Um,
let's hope Turner hauls for you, because if you didn't have Turner, you'd be able to go to Darwin or something like that with one transfer.
yeah, yeah.
And
Well, I've
Pedro
got
Porro,
0.9 in
he
the
got a
bank.
bit extra, didn't he, as well? So, like, yeah, let's hope
He got a bit of
those
point two.
like
He took an extra point two.
all the
Oh, he's going to
Turner's
score.
cheaper. Yeah, Turner's actually I forgot. Like,
Aye,
Turner costs nothing. Turner costs
4.
nothing. I thought he was a 4.5,
But yeah,
but
Pedro Porro cost me point 0.2 more than the new Dogie. But Pedro Porro is going to score this week. He's getting it. He's going to bang. I'm telling you. But we'll look at your team. Bring yours up. See what you're looking at. Again, I think when we discussed it last week, you were similar? Happy with you? No transfer? Any changes?
No, I'll be rolling for sure. Like injury news aside, I think even with an injury news, I'd probably roll. To be honest, got a decent first sub. So yeah, the team is Strakoza, Strakosha, for the now
However that's
first
said.
choice keeper for Brentford. So I went for him because he's cheap. He's 3.9, so he was cheaper than just saving 0.1 from Turner. So I knew Ariota was going to be my long-term keeper. So I thought, like, let's squeeze the budget just in case. I thought he had an option, a potential to get in over Flecken, who's been quite dodgy. But yeah, like Flecken's got a mystery injury or illness now until mid to late November. So like happy days. I've got Sikoska for Burnley at home, which like yeah, hopefully that will be a lucky little pick there. Cash, Udogi, and Burn, all home fixtures at the back, looking pretty solid. Madison, Gordon, Son, and Salah. So yeah, Gordon's no longer banned, so yeah, happy to have him back. And yeah, I'm kind of really excited for him, to be honest. I think he'll play every game with Barnes being out long term, and like his underlying numbers are really good, and he's playing for a really attacking team, a really attacking team. So like I think they might be second only to City in terms of a team account attacking output, and that's despite some tough old fixtures. Obviously, there's been some freak results like the Villa one in game week 1 that have influenced that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to having kind of like Gordon. I think he could kind of really bang like the next couple. But yeah, Madison, Gordon, Son, and Salah. Salah's my vice captain. Watkins, Darwin, and Haaland as my captain. Yeah, people may ask like Darwin, are you worried about him being rotated post international break? Yeah, like it's probably a flip of a coin whether he starts or not. However, Pau Torres is my first on my bench. I don't think he's going to keep a clean sheet against West Ham. So, yeah, Nunes, I would be gutted if he starts, and I haven't started him myself. So I'm willing to roll that dice. If he's coming on post being tired after the international break, he's going to come on for a reason. Do you know what I mean? Like, so he's going to come in because Liverpool need a goal or they're chasing the game or something like that. We've seen already he can get a return in a short amount of time. So I'm happy to run that risk. And then I think after this Everton game, posting that international break, there's a period of 4 game weeks where I think I'm very confident he's going to start each game week. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with my team. So yeah, they're all home as well, which is kind of interesting. Like so it does look good. Does look good, but like probably a lot of us are feeling this, and like no doubt it'll be a shit game week when you go in feeling so confident.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's a good one. And I hope I've got a little visitor here.
Hello. Hello. Hello there.
But
you've got to tell us names now.
This is Penny. Oh,
Penny.
Go on, off you go. But,
well, we're going to have a section next week, which is Penny's Corner. Just Penny comes on for 2 minutes.
The star of the show. Where was I? Anyway.
Yeah, you happy with it? The problem with them all being at home is next week they'll all be away, in theory.
No, exactly. Well, that's when we bring Arsenal players against Sheffield United at home. So.
Yeah, true. That's true.
That's when we jump off Spurs. So yeah, all good. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with that team. But yeah, we'll see.
It should be okay with Darwin. I think so. So Gakpo's still injured. He probably won't be back. And Diaz is also playing in South America.
He's not very good, is he?
Gakpo, he's not a goal scorer like Darwin Nunes. But he does score. He scores Gakpo a bit. So let's put it this way: as a Liverpool fan, I'd rather Nunes be on the pitch than Gakpo.
He's definitely a rotator. He's definitely a squad player rather than like a starting player. But Jota's going to play. I'm confident of that. But like
Jota and Salah, and then it's Diaz or Nunes because Gakpo's injured. So the way he's been playing, I think Darwin will get a nod.
Yeah, I think so. Diaz's form has been mixed. Plus, like he's got the same issues that Darwin's been faced, if not more, from like the international break. I think his games are even like further. I think he's got the classic high altitude game as well, hasn't
he? Yeah. Crazy that we're another early kickoff. I think after the next international break, Liverpool have an early kick-off again, so you're going to be worried. And it's a home to City, or away at City, sorry. But yeah, game week, what will that be? Game week 13 after the next international break.
Oh, that's
So
miles away. I
yeah,
mean,
you're gonna,
I might go Isak then. Like, do you know what I mean? So I think you would
yeah,
like Darwin would have
yeah,
served. Darwin's either nailed, looking amazing. I'm like, wow, I'm keeping this guy. Always been
yeah.
a miss, and then I'd be like, go to an Isak, no regrets. Like, so, like, I can live with that.
Yeah.
I can live with that.
I hope it's the first. You know, I said last week, if you overtake me because of Darwin Núñez's points, I'll be happier than you. If he's starting to bang. But
No,
yeah, we'll
I feel
move on
confident.
to
I'm very confident he's going to do well. There's definitely some logic in the madness. I think, you know, Gakpo being injured is the trigger point, and then just generally looking very good in all games. I think it's no Champions League yet. There's a lot of signs pointing towards, hey, like it's worth the gamble over
the risk.
whoever else you can play.
No, I'm with you. I'm kind of jealous I haven't got him. With that, we move on to the close. I never asked you this, Matt, but you got any closing remarks you want to bring up? You don't have to. I appreciate I've put you on the spot there. Don't feel like you've got to say anything.
I was going to say, graphic designing hasn't updated this closing slide for a couple of weeks.
No, I knew you'd spot that one. I knew you'd spot that one. I might well have looked at Game Week 5's slides and copied them because I'm like, oh, it'll be a similar format, and forgot to edit this slide. I'll sack myself. I'll rehire myself for next week, and we'll be back. We'll be back next Tuesday, regardless.
Gentle teasing, and obviously, I don't put anything together, so I do appreciate it. But I love that formatting gap.
I don't mind shouting out FPL Focal and FPL Matt W again. Appreciate your support, guys. Appreciate your support. So yeah, we'll shout them out every week. But yeah, that's it. That's this week's episode. We will be back next Tuesday, we think. Are you about next Tuesday, Matt? We'll go with yes.
I'm persistent. I was in a work hotel room last time around, so I'll find a way.
That is commitment. Taking your microphone and your laptop with you just to do the podcast.
It's heavy as well.
That is commitment.
I had all the work laptop, everything. Then I had the MacBook, and then the Blue Yeti. Yeah, Blue Yeti. If you do want to sponsor this pod, like we're on track for big things. Like
yeah, we are both using them. Just to say, another Blue Yeti. So if they do want to sponsor us, that'd be amazing. Other microphones are available otherwise. But yeah, next week. But hopefully we'll both be on another green arrow, flying up the ranks, breaking that top 2 million, getting nosebleeds for this season with the heights that we'll get to. But appreciate your time again this week as always, and we'll speak to you next week, Matt.
Well, good. You take care.
And yourself. And thank you to the listener for joining us. Hopefully you've learned something of value. Stick with Haaland as captain. Look to get to Arsenal next game week, and look to get Bowen as well. There's the stats from the man himself. But thank you again. That thing that we always ask you to do, give us the likes, the subscribes, share it with your friends and family. Please do if you can. Just help them to learn from us as well, mainly Matt. But that would be great for us as a thank you for providing this, I guess. But yeah, we'll see you next week. Thanks for your time, and no doubt we'll speak again soon.